least 10 people who have cheated death. Julianne Kupke was the only person who survived when her plane crashed in the Peruvian Amazon in 1971, falling 2 miles from the sky still strapped into her seatbelt. Incredibly, the 17-year-old only sustained moderate injuries. She wandered a crocodile-infested jungle for 9 days before she was rescued by a group of Peruvian lumberjacks. Peter Skylberg was trapped inside of his car, buried in snow for 60 days. 2 snowmobilers found what they thought to be an abandoned car in February 2012. They dug through the meter of snow to see a man lying in the back seat. How did he survive? Skylberg said the 60 days he was trapped, he lived off of eating snow alone. Michael Benson and his colleague were shooting aerial footage for a movie when their helicopter plunged down over Kilauea, the world's most active volcano. The cameraman and Benson's colleague just missed the boiling pool of lava and reached safety the following day. While Benson was unable to be located, he was inside of a crater of the volcano listening to the lava bubbling below him. He was eventually saved, then a rescue net flew through the thick fog above him. Harrison Okene was in the bathroom of his tugboat when things went wrong. His boat began to rapidly sink off Nigeria's coast in 2013. When rescuers got to the scene underwater to pull the bodies from the boat wreck, they were astonished to see a hand reach out as Okene was still alive 3 days after the boat sank. Okene survived in an air bubble and stacked mattresses to escape the rising water. ISIDRO MEJA was doing construction work on the roof of a house when he stumbled off and fell. The fall didn't kill him, but you'd think the 6 3.5-inch nails that shot into his neck and skull should have. He survived because each nail had barely missed his brainstem and spinal cord. ARON Ralston was climbing Utah's Blue John Canyon in 2003 when a boulder dislocated and pinned his hand to the canyon wall. After 6 days of struggling to get out, he'd eventually decided it would be in his best interest to amputate his own arm. He did, and crawled out of the canyon to safety. Vesna Vulovic was just a passenger on a Serbian jet in 1972 when a bomb planted by Croatian nationalists exploded on the aircraft, which had been flying at 33,000 feet. Despite the fact that the plane separated into several pieces, Vulovic found herself in the remains of the plane's midsection, where she was the entire time of the 33,000-foot freefall to the ground. Rescuers found her with a fractured skull, 3 broken vertebrae, and 2 broken legs, but somehow still alive. She was in a coma for 27 days before waking up semi-paralyzed, but eventually making a full recovery. 18-year-old Matthew Allen ran away from home in the Australian outback during a record-breaking heat wave in December 2013. Search teams could find no trace of the teen. 9 weeks later, Matthew was found by hikers, disoriented and unable to stand. He had been surviving on creek water and had lost half of his body weight. Matthew Lowe was processing steel beams through a machine when a piece of his clothing got snagged on the conveyor belt. Unable to free himself, he stopped resisting and let it happen, surrendering to the situation. His entire body except for his head, which luckily slipped through a bigger gap, was dragged through a 5-inch opening before the machine threw him out the other side. After coming out of the other end, Lowe suffered a broken back, hips, pelvis, ribs, a ruptured stomach, and bowels. Since the event, he went through 6 surgeries and is doing perfectly fine now. Martine de Jonge was supposed to fly on both of the Malaysian airline planes, MH370, which has not been found yet after disappearing over the Indian Ocean, and MH17, which was shot down over Ukraine as it wasn't on the radar. The first flight he had switched because he wanted to avoid a stopover, and the second flight he switched to a later date a few days after for no specific reason.